Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Once again, I'm Ned from Ned's Tech Bits, otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. You should not date for the next few years, especially if you're progressive, because the dating scene, particularly for progressives, is run entirely by apps. That's never happened before. There is a hell behind this that we are unaware of. As someone who was in business, I can tell you that people are going to be manipulating this. They're going to be messing with this. They're not just going to be here to try to get you a better date. That's not going to be how it goes. It's going to be like it was when railroads were moving coal and then imperial oil started taking over everything slowly behind the scenes. Now, it's not like that right now. But at the same time, we have feminism, which is becoming, and progressivism. Women have the rights they always deserved, and women have only had those rights within my mother's age. Legitimately, there was a time when my mom couldn't get a loan because she was a woman. She had to have my dad sign for it too. I think it was in the 60s that a woman couldn't get a credit card because the idea was the woman could overspend and the man was the one that brought in all of the money. But even then, in and of its time, that wasn't the be all and end all. I mean, my grandma at the time had already had a lead hand position in Shelburne making munition shells. And for some reason, she would never admit that she had that job, and I have no idea why. But what I want to say is relationships are different throughout time and space and location. It's never always been the same, but what it is now is so radically changed and so radically different than what it has been recently. Society has advanced in the last 10 years more than it has advanced in the last, Jesus, maybe 150, right? Technology's slowing down because we can't predict electricity at any smaller scales. It gets quantum when we don't know how to harness it. Things are getting off the hook. So the progressives, the feminists are finding out that they're just like children. In some ways, they're flexing their arm. We're not even allowed to say this, but they're reaching out and they're finding their boundaries. And they're finding out things like they themselves have the capacity for evil. We're learning this stuff. We have to figure it out. And okay, so here's the thing. I know the devil watches this. The devil. Women are Men are physically violent. Yes, men are physically violent. I'm not. Women can destroy men with the things that they say. And the thing is, if you get a nuclear headshot as a man, if someone says, there was a prisoner that told me, an inmate, he was out then, he told me, everyone has one thing, and if you find out, if you say this one thing, you can destroy them. And he said that that was a thing that he learned when he was in the system. Anyone that you hate, they have one thing that you can say that will completely destroy them. Now, we need to face facts that men test the universe, women test men. That's not what I'm saying. That's clinical psychologists saying. In a lot of ways, that's true. Women aren't violent, but the things that they say is devastating. Margaret Atwood flat out said that men, okay, all men have to worry about from women is laughter. And women have to worry about men killing them. Okay, now here's the thing. If you abuse something and don't kill it, you create a monster. Okay? If you abuse something and don't kill it, You create a monster. Now, I had to repeat that because you can abuse someone without ever touching them. Women are great at getting into your heads and saying things. Women are great at doing it to each other. But you see, after they do it, they all get their curve. I don't know how it ends. I don't know how it ends. But with men, it ends in one particular way, suicide. And we have to start talking about it because I'm sick of losing so many men. I have relationships with people who work in places, and I am legitimately, after I hear the shit that they say about how they feel about men, I just have to be like, why do you care when you hear that these men kill themselves? You should be celebrating. They're horrible men, right? I had a conversation with one. Sorry, this really hurts, but this is true. And I don't like saying this stuff. If 10-year-old me heard me saying this, they wouldn't. I talk with a therapist who works. Man, this is hard to say. I had to talk with a therapist that works in a place, and I said, why don't you guys just make a suicide booth outside and just let men come and off themselves? It's like you just want them to die. You want all white men to die, don't you? And she told me, well, some of us have a good reason. There's a problem there. There's a problem there. These places aren't run by Buddhists. They're not run by people in the middle of the street. They're run by people who are oppressed, that have a vengeance, that have a desire for vengeance, that don't really want the world to be a better place. They want to sit in it with the people that they're with and marinate in it, pretty much. Sit in it. Now, if there's any therapists listening, that word will mean something to you. Sit in it. Now, if you're a therapist, and there's one thing I want to catch you on, and I want everybody knows, your therapist will not challenge you. Now, as I'm dating these therapistish women, one thing I'm finding is very clear is they are not being challenged. And I know something about being challenged. I'm as challenged as they come. Now, anyways, there are some inalienable truths that have to be heard. And most guys are just like, okay, I'll just agree with you if you'll give me sex. But I'm sorry. I want to finish this with a very true statement. Women expect too much. Most of them. Not all of them. But there is legitimately folklore. The fisherman and his wife saying, just don't ask for too much. Now, it's not saying all women do, it's saying they have the potential to, which they absolutely do. Ask for too much. And in this day and age, there are absolutely far too many women who expect too much, who expect. Okay, women on the dating sites are expecting bottle service at the clubs and for ballers to make them bottles pop, and it's not happening like it used to be. And I keep thinking, bitch, you're like 42. Why are you out here in the club scene? And she's like, well, I might not be all that, and I might be married, but there are good-looking girls around here. Okay, guys, legitimately, if your girl's over 25 and she's going out to the clubs with her friends who are single, she's cheating on you. Yeah, come at me with that, women. And then when you go to sleep tonight, think about what I said and laugh to yourself about how sometimes it's actually true. It's really funny. It is so funny how I've had women I'm dating, and I know them really well, and I'll communicate with them and flat out, and they'll tell me the truth because I tell them the truth because I'm a bit autistic or something. And I'll have situations where they'll tell me flat out, yeah, I was screwing them in the parking lot during break. Oh, I was doing this position where I had my leg up here, and oh yeah, and we found that perfect position. And then later on, I was making a joke like, oh yeah, you were doing them in the parking lot. And she had the nerve to act offended, like it never actually happened, as one does when someone says something to them about something unconscionable. But then I was like, you told me the truth, right? I didn't say that, but I was like, you told me damn well what you did, and then it broke the oh yeah, okay, well I did. Well, we have lots of stuff like that going on in the dating scene right now, and it really sucks. Women have never been crazier before because they've never had their attention kited so much. They've never had so many people telling them what to do and telling them so much how what they were doing was wrong. Wait, honest question. Out of the women that you've known that have ended their relationships, how many of them were abusive? Like, because I'm finding 7 out of 10 of them will say I was abused in my last relationship. And that really bothers me because sometimes abuse means I was struck physically, and sometimes abuse means he didn't agree with me about things that we remember differently. And within that universe is a hell. Because if you get the wrong white knight that you say that to, shit is on. And then if that white knight does something, the woman's completely removed. Oh, I didn't tell her. I never. Hell, there's even a situation where a girl in the States used a guy to kill someone she didn't like for sex. And she was like, oh, I didn't have it. And now she got brought into it too. That was a few years ago. But legitimately, it was a really difficult time in society because we haven't got stuff figured out. I think the last time that we had society this messed up and confused might have been when the Protestants broke out or something. I don't know. Huh. Anyways, don't date. Don't worry about it. Take a few years. Take it easy. Have a good one, folks. Catch you later.